The still small voice within, finding God in the whispers of your heart. Oh, the clamor of the world, the endless noise, the relentless demands, the flashing lights that scream for your attention. It pulls you in 1,000 directions, a whirlwind of wants and worries, leaving you breathless and depleted. But what if I told you that the truest guidance, the deepest peace, the most profound connection you seek isn't found in the roar, but in the hush? What if the divine, the very essence of my love and presence, isn't shouting from the mountaintops, but whispering within the quiet chambers of your own heart? This, my child, is the essence of the still small voice within. It's not about grand pronouncements or earth-shattering revelations. It's about learning to tune your ear to the subtle frequencies of the soul, to the gentle nudges of the spirit, to that inner knowing that transcends the noise and chaos. It's like the prophet Elijah. He didn't find me in the earthquake. The power of breaking stone was not I am. He didn't find me in the raging fire. The burning passion was not I am. No. My presence, my guidance, my love, often comes in the form of a gentle whisper. It can be a subtle intuition, a quiet sense of knowing, a feeling of peace that settles over you amidst the storm. It might be a sudden insight, a flash of inspiration, a prompting to act in a certain way. It might manifest as a deep sense of compassion for another, a yearning for something more, a quiet conviction that you are on the right path, or perhaps gently that you are not. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it will just keep you on your path. Other times, it may change the course of your life. The voice is there, but are you? The message is simple yet profound. I am always with you, closer than your very breath. I'm not a distant deity, removed from your daily struggles and triumphs. I am intimately involved in every aspect of your life, guiding you, loving you, and drawing you closer to me. The challenge, however, lies in learning to hear that voice amidst the distractions of the world. How do you cultivate this inner listening? It begins with stillness. It requires creating space in your life for quiet reflection, for turning inward and disconnecting from the external noise. This could be through prayer, meditation, spending time in nature, or simply sitting in silence. It's about intentionally carving out moments to be present, to be receptive, to listen with your heart, not just your ears. The scriptures say, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46 verse 10. It's in the stillness that you create the space for my voice to be heard. The stillness strips away the layers of distraction, the anxieties, the fears, the endless to-do lists, and allows you to connect with the core of your being, where I reside. The stillness allows your heart to open and hear. The lesson here is one of trust and surrender. It's about trusting that I am speaking to you, even when it's not in the way you expect. It's about surrendering your own agenda, your own preconceived notions of how things should be, and opening yourself to my guidance, even when it leads you down an unexpected path. Remember the story of Samuel? He was a young boy serving in the temple, and he heard a voice calling his name. At first he thought it was Eli the priest, but Eli told him it was me. 1 Samuel 3. Samuel had to learn to discern my voice, to distinguish it from the voices around him. And he had to learn to respond with obedience, saying, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." This is the posture of the heart that is open to the still small voice. It's a posture of humility, of receptivity, of willingness to be guided. The teaching extends beyond simply hearing the voice. It's about cultivating a relationship. It's not just about receiving instructions. It's about developing a deep, intimate connection with me, where you learn to recognize my voice as the voice of a loving father, a trusted friend, a constant companion. Think of it like learning to recognize the voice of a loved one in a crowded room. At first, you might have to strain to hear them, but over time, as you spend more time with them, you become attuned to the nuances of their voice, their tone, their inflection. You can pick it out even amidst the cacophony. It becomes a source of comfort, of reassurance, of guidance. The same is true with my voice. The more time you spend in communion with me, the more familiar you will become with my presence, with my way of speaking to you. You'll learn to recognize my promptings, my gentle nudges, my whispers of love and encouragement. It's a journey of deepening intimacy, of growing in your ability to discern my will and to walk in my ways. This isn't a passive process. It's not about sitting back and waiting for me to shout instructions. It's about actively engaging with me, seeking my guidance, and then stepping out in faith, even when you don't have all the answers. It's about cultivating a heart that is sensitive to my promptings and then responding with courage and obedience. Sometimes, my voice will lead you to do things that seem illogical, that go against the grain of conventional wisdom. It might call you to forgive someone who has hurt you deeply, to extend grace to someone who doesn't deserve it, to step out of your comfort zone and pursue a dream that seems impossible. It requires a willingness to trust that I know what's best for you, even when you can't see the full picture. The story of Abraham is a testament to this. I called him to leave his home, his family, his security, and journey to a land he did not know. Genesis 12. He didn't have a map, a detailed itinerary, or a guarantee of success. He only had my promise, and he chose to trust in that promise, even when it didn't make sense. And because of his faith, he became the father of a great nation. Finally, remember that discerning my voice is not always easy. There will be times when you're unsure, when you question whether you're hearing me correctly. There will be times when the noise of the world seems to drown out the whispers of your heart. In those moments, it's important to persevere, to continue seeking me, to continue praying, to continue listening. And it's also important to seek wise counsel, to talk to trusted friends, mentors, or spiritual leaders who can help you discern my voice and confirm what you're hearing. They can offer perspective, encouragement, and accountability. Do not be afraid to make mistake, my child. Every mistake is a pathway to me. Because when you make mistake, you will search for me again. And I am there. The important is that you seek me, that you will reach me. The still small voice within is not a magical formula or a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey of learning to listen, to trust, and to obey. It's a journey of deepening intimacy with me, of growing in your ability to discern my will and to walk in my ways. But it's a journey that leads to a life of profound peace, purpose, and fulfillment. It's a journey that leads you home to your true self, to the heart of my love, where you will find the rest and the guidance you so desperately seek. So quiet your mind, open your heart, and listen. I am here. I am speaking. And I am waiting to guide you every step of the way. Tuet voi, de la fan tip noi, kong lap lai va kong ko ket luan, theo jong van va fong catch de thiet lap. And what of the fruits of this listening, this turning inward? They are not mere trinkets, fleeting moments of bliss, but the very building blocks of a life lived in harmony with my divine will. You will find a resilience you never knew you possessed, a strength that arises not from your own striving, but from the wellspring of my infinite power flowing through you. Think of the reed that bends in the wind, seemingly fragile, yet it survives the storm because it yields, it allows the force to pass through it. So too will you find strength in yielding to my guidance, in allowing my love to be the wind that carries you, rather than resisting it with the brittle rigidity of your own will. Not by might nor by power but by my Spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Zechariah 4 verse 6. This is the secret of true strength, not in your own abilities but in your surrender to mine. It is in that surrendering where my power is made perfect. Consider also the clarity that blossoms in the garden of a quiet heart. The world bombards you with conflicting opinions, with a cacophony of voices vying for your allegiance. But when you learn to discern my voice, the truth becomes self-evident. It's like standing on a mountaintop, above the clouds of confusion, where the landscape below is laid out in breathtaking clarity. You see the paths that lead to life and the paths that lead to destruction, and you choose with wisdom, guided not by the fleeting desires of the ego, but by the eternal wisdom of my Spirit. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119 verse 105. My word, whispered within your heart, illuminates the way, guiding you through the darkness, showing you the steps you must take to walk in righteousness and truth. It is a beacon of hope. It will show you the truth, and sometimes you will have to face a truth you don't want to face, but my truth is for your freedom. And what of love, the very essence of my being? As you cultivate this inner listening, you will find that your capacity for love expands beyond measure. It's not simply a sentimental feeling, but a profound, unwavering compassion that extends to all beings, even those who seem unlovable, even those who have wronged you. You begin to see the world through my eyes, recognizing the spark of the divine in every soul, even when it's hidden beneath layers of pain and brokenness. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. John 13 verse 34. This is not a suggestion but a commandment, and it is only through listening to the still small voice within, the voice of love itself, that you can truly fulfill this commandment. Because true love does not come naturally. True love, unconditional love, only comes from me. You will learn how to love by listening to my voice, and by letting my love be reflected by you. But let us not mistake stillness for passivity. This inner listening is not an escape from the world, but a preparation for engaging with it in a more meaningful and effective way. It's like the archer who draws back the bowstring, gathering the energy before releasing the arrow with precision and power. The stillness is the drawing back, the gathering of spiritual strength, the alignment with my will. And then, when the moment is right, you are released into the world not as a lone warrior, but as an instrument of my peace, my justice, my love. You become a vessel, a conduit, through which my grace can flow into the world, touching lives, healing wounds, and bringing hope to the hopeless. You don't have to know the whole path. You only have to take the step you hear. Remember, too, that the journey of listening is not a linear progression. There will be times of great clarity, when my voice seems to resonate with unmistakable certainty. And there will be times of doubt, of confusion, when you feel as though you're stumbling in the dark. This is part of the process. It's in the wrestling, in the questioning, in the seeking, that your faith is deepened and your spiritual muscles are strengthened. Don't be discouraged by the moments of silence, for even in the silence I am present. Even in the darkness I am working. It's like the seed that is buried beneath the soil, unseen, seemingly lifeless, yet it is germinating, preparing to burst forth into new life. Trust that even when you can't hear me, I am still guiding you, still shaping you, still loving you. And I am always with you, even until the very end. Okay, here's the continuation, maintaining the same voice, style, and constraints. No repetition of the topic, no conclusion. And what of the discernment itself, the ability to distinguish my voice from the myriad other voices that clamor for your attention? It is not a skill learned overnight, but a grace cultivated through practice, through patience, through a willingness to be wrong, to be corrected, to be humbled. Think of it as tuning a musical instrument. At first, the notes may sound discordant, out of tune, jarring to the ear. But with each careful adjustment, with each attentive listening, the sounds become clearer, more harmonious, until finally they resonate with perfect pitch. So too is it with discerning my voice. You must learn to distinguish the subtle vibrations of truth from the dissonant chords of fear, of ego, of the world's deceptive whispers. Test the spirits to see whether they are from God, for many false prophets have gone out into the world. 1 John 4 verse 1. This testing is not a condemnation, but a discerning, a careful examination of the fruits of the voice. Does it lead you to love, to joy, to peace, to patience, to kindness, to goodness, to faithfulness, to gentleness, and to self-control? Galatians 5 verses 22 to 23. These are the hallmarks of my spirit, the unmistakable signs that you are hearing my voice. If, on the other hand, the voice leads you to fear, to anxiety, to condemnation, to selfishness, to division, then you can be sure that it is not from me. Furthermore, consider the role of community in this process. While the ultimate communion is between your soul and mine, I have also placed you within a body of believers, a fellowship of kindred spirits who can support you, encourage you, and help you discern my voice. Where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them. Matthew 18 verse 20. This gathering is not merely a social event, but a sacred space where my presence is amplified, where my voice can be heard more clearly through the shared wisdom, the mutual encouragement, and the loving accountability of the community. Seek out those who are further along on the path, those whose lives bear the fruit of my Spirit, and allow them to speak into your life, to offer guidance, to help you discern the true from the false. Do not isolate yourself, for isolation breeds deception. Community is needed. Community is how I protect my sheep. And remember that my voice is not always a directive, a command to do something. Often, it is an invitation to be something. It is a call to cultivate the virtues of my character, to embody my love, my compassion, my grace in your daily interactions. It is a gentle prompting to be more patient, more kind, more forgiving, more generous, more loving. It is a whisper that reminds you of your true identity as my beloved child, created in my image, destined for glory. Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Matthew 5 verse 48. This perfection is not an unattainable standard, but a continuous process of becoming, of growing into the fullness of who I have created you to be. It is a journey of transformation, guided by my voice, empowered by my Spirit, and sustained by my unwavering love. It is a continuous growing. It is a lifelong journey. Also, be mindful of the language in which I speak. It is rarely through audible words, but more often through impressions, through intuitions, through a deep sense of knowing that transcends the limitations of human language. It is a language of the heart, a language of the Spirit, a language that you must learn to interpret through prayer, through reflection, through paying attention to the subtle movements of your soul. It's like learning to read the signs of nature. The rustling of the leaves, the direction of the wind, the patterns of the clouds. These signs can tell you much about the weather, but you must learn to interpret them correctly. So too is it with my voice. You must learn to read the signs of my Spirit, the subtle promptings, the gentle nudges, the inner confirmations that reveal my will. And when you are not sure, be still and wait. Do not act in haste. The discernment of my voice requires time and patience. The answer will come if you wait with open heart. And what of the obstacles, the hindrances that stand between you and this clear reception of my whispers? They are not external forces, though the world will certainly present its distractions, but internal barriers, walls built by your own fears, your own doubts, your own attachments. Think of a radio receiver filled with static, unable to pick up the clear signal of the broadcast. The static is not the fault of the transmitter, but of the receiver itself. So too is it with your ability to hear my voice. The static is the noise of your own anxieties, your own insecurities, your own self-will, that interfere with the clear reception of my guidance. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Philippians 4 verses 6-7. This peace is not merely the absence of anxiety, but the active presence of my spirit, clearing the channels of communication, allowing my voice to be heard with clarity and precision. It is a shield against the storm, a shield against the noise. Consider, too, the role of forgiveness in this process. Unforgiveness, like a heavy stone, blocks the flow of my grace, hindering your ability to hear my voice and to walk in my ways. It creates a bitterness, a resentment, that clouds your judgment, distorts your perception, and separates you from me. And whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against anyone, forgive him, that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. Mark 11 verse 25. This forgiveness is not a condoning of wrongdoing, but a release of the toxic grip of resentment, a freeing of your own heart from the burden of unforgiveness. It is an act of obedience, an act of faith, an act of love that opens the way for my healing power to flow through you, restoring your connection with me and allowing you to hear my voice with renewed clarity. It is the key that will set you free. And what of the temptation to rely on your own understanding, your own intellect, your own limited perspective? This is perhaps the greatest obstacle of all, the pride that whispers, "I know best," the arrogance that refuses to yield to my wisdom. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Proverbs 3 verses 5-6. This trust is not a blind leap in the dark, but a confident reliance on my character, my goodness, my unwavering love for you. It is an acknowledgement that I see the bigger picture, that I know the end from the beginning, that my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Isaiah 55 verse 9. It is a surrender of your own will, a yielding to my guidance, a willingness to follow me even when you don't understand the path. Trust. It's letting go. Remember also that the journey is about relationship, not rules. It's about cultivating a deep, intimate connection with me, where you learn to recognize my voice as the voice of a loving Father, not as a distant dictator. The rules are merely guidelines, signposts along the way, but the true destination is a heart-to-heart communion with me, where you walk in constant awareness of my presence, my guidance, and my love. It is not about what you do, but what you are. The more you are close to me, the less you will be confused. Finally, and perhaps paradoxically, the greatest aid to hearing my voice is often found in serving others. As you pour yourself out in love, as you extend yourself in compassion, as you give of yourself to those in need, you create a space within your own heart for my voice to be heard more clearly. It's like emptying a vessel so that it can be filled with fresh water. The act of self-giving clears away the clutter, the selfishness, the distractions, and allows my spirit to flow through you, guiding you, empowering you, and speaking to you with unmistakable clarity. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. Mark 10 verses 43 to 44. It is in the paradox. It is in the giving that you will receive. Okay, here's a single paragraph opening in English from the first-person perspective of God, introducing the topic of the still small voice within, finding God in the whispers of your heart, in a captivating and intriguing way, touching on the message, lesson, and teachings without explicitly stating the title. My child, have you ever felt lost in a roaring tempest? A whirlwind of voices all screaming for your attention, each promising fulfillment, yet leaving you emptier than before? The world thunders with demands, with glittering illusions, with fleeting pleasures that vanish like mist in the morning sun. But what if I told you that the truest guidance, the deepest peace, the unwavering love you crave isn't found in that deafening clamor, but in the quietest of spaces, a sanctuary hidden within the very core of your being? What if the answers you seek, the direction you yearn for, aren't etched in stone tablets or proclaimed from burning bushes, but whispered on the breath of your own soul, a gentle current flowing beneath the surface of the chaotic world? There's a secret language, a divine dialogue I long to have with you, a conversation that transcends the noise and penetrates the deepest recesses of your heart. It's a journey of learning to listen not with your ears, but with the very essence of your spirit, to a voice that is both ancient and ever new, a voice that holds the key to unlocking your true purpose and unveiling the boundless love I have poured out for you since the dawn of creation. This journey is about learning to discern my presence, not in the spectacular but in the subtle, not in the earthquake but in the whisper. Prepare to uncover how to recognize this sacred conversation, and discover the unfathomable depths of peace and power it holds, a power that can transform your life from the inside out, making the ordinary extraordinary.